when you say deload, do you mean like you took a week off from training, or were you just in the gym and just like not taking stuff to failure, going at like 50 or 60%?
Exactly. It was pretty much like 60%, nothing till failure. 60% of the weight I'd use, nothing till failure.
I can't, it's very hard for me to do that. Like if I go into the gym, like I'd rather just take the goddamn week off.
100%. I mean, that's how I felt. So many exercises, I found myself like going into it like, okay, we're training. And then I would have to stop myself and be like, Mike, you're like 2 reps away from failure, like busting your ass. This isn't deload, but it's so hard to turn that mentality off.
It is. It's difficult for me to go into the gym knowing that I have a goal.
Yeah.
And to it's like I'm half-assing it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As well as like, I know this doesn't matter, but like, I'm kind of, at least around here, known for how I train.
Mm-hmm.
And then you spend a week in the gym kind of being not who you are. Oh, shit.
We're good.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Look at that.
How are you, you handsome bastard?
Well, how are you?
I'm good, man.
All right,
I can't complain.
Yeah, it's kind of cutting out a little bit. Just the audio.
You were good there. I can hear you there.
Yeah, that's good. I was kind of cutting out. No, we almost got it perfect.
Douglas.
What's going on, fellas?
How are you?
What's happening?
Ain't nothing much, man. Just getting back in the crib. Here we go.
Justin, do you have audio?
What's that? Yeah, can you hear?
Oh, yeah. Now I can hear you. Perfect. Awesome. Are you able to flip your phone sideways so it full screens? I think you just have to like unlock it.
What do you mean?
Like if you like swipe down, it'll like unlock the phone so you can like swivel it like in your settings. I actually don't have an iPhone, so I'm just saying that off of what I've heard other people say. He had to
teach me the same thing. I don't know nothing about this shit.
So if I swipe down what?
So on an iPhone, right? I think as you swipe down, it shows your settings, or maybe as a swipe up on iPhone.
Yeah.
And then it should be like screen rotate or screen screen rotate. Where is it?
I'm looking for it on.
I have an Android, so.
I had one Android phone years ago. It was the Droid X, and I really liked it until it just started shutting off on me nonstop. It was deleting photos and contacts, and I'm like, never again. Because I was against iPhones for the longest time. Like, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
But it's just so easy.
Yeah, I used to be an iPhone guy, and now I'm an Android guy for life. Oh no, it's all right. If we can't flip it, it's fine. I'm good.
Let me try one time. Screen rotate.
I think it's just like it looks like a little like lock button.
All right, so I hit the lock button, but I don't think it did anything.
Now try flipping your phone, because I think it should be unlocked. Now, if you like rotate your phone, it might.
There we go.
There we go. We're figuring everything out.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm learning a lot already. All right, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you great now.
Perfect.
So what's up, sir? How's life?
Life is good. Just busy. Busy is good.
Busy is good. So for people that don't know, and I doubt anybody doesn't know, if you'd like to introduce yourself and kind of what your position is currently in the bodybuilding industry.
Yeah, so my name is Justin Randall. I'm a retired IFBB pro. Still train, still, eat pretty well. I like to still consider myself a bodybuilder, just no longer in the competing world. I coached for a very long time. I worked with competitors. I currently still work with, lifestyle individuals, just those looking to take their physique to another level. I don't really work with competitors anymore. I'm now a judge for the NPC Northeast. I am now a promoter as well, the NPC Rhode Island Championships. So that's kind of what I've been up to, these past 6 months, is just getting ready for my first show, May 31st, which I'm technically co-promoting. I'm partnered with Sean Andros and Steve Weinberger for that. But with Rhode Island being my area where I live, it's kind of just taking the lead on it. So, but everything is going well.
It's very exciting. So I think the basic thing that I just want to start off with is just like your story to becoming an IFBB pro, how it started, and how you got there. And then we'll branch off.
So let's see. I started competing back in 2011. I actually competed in the OCB. It was the OCB Cape Cod Natural, my first show, put on by James Caron. And I ended up doing 7 natural shows with the OCB and the IMBF. And then in 2014, I did my first NPC show, the NPC Powerhouse Classic. That was in New Haven, Connecticut. It was one of the Montanari Brothers shows. And then actually from there, I did the Junior USAs. I won the lightweights there. And then I ended up I did a few local shows as well in 2015 before I took a stab at my first pro qualifier, which was the NPC USAs in 2015, where I placed 3rd there in the lightweights. And then I shut it down after that. Came back in 2016. I did a few shows. I won the New York Grand Prix as a middleweight. And then I ended up doing the NPC New England's, where I took the middleweights there. That was actually, it's funny, being from New England, that was my first ever Boston show, 2016. And it was a great show. And then I went on to the NPC Nationals in 2016, which is where I got my pro card in the lightweights. My coach was Jose Raymond at the time. So then from there, I ended up taking all of 2017 off, being a lightweight. I turned pro at, 154. So, big jump to the 212s. And, I wanted nothing to do with classic, no disrespect. I actually love the classic physique division. It's fantastic, especially seeing the level that it's come to now. But I just wasn't a classic guy, little short guy, thick waist. I wanted to be in the 212. So I took all 2017 off, and then I debuted at the New York Pro in 2018. And then from there, I did, I believe it was 8 pro shows between 2018 and 2021. And 2021 was my last show, the New York Pro, when it was in Tampa, actually. And then here we are.
So when along the way did coaching become a thing for you?
Oh, so I've been coaching for a while. I worked with, competitors from 2014 up until, I started taking on a more serious judging role. So I'd say I coached for, 14, over 10 years, and, I loved coaching. I always will. Like I said, my business now is all lifestyle and still individuals who, they're looking to take their physique to another level, but it's just nowadays that, if someone's looking to compete, especially in the NPC, like that's when I move them on to, another coach, because especially since I took on a head judging role in the Northeast, kind of been focusing on that, especially now with promoting the show. I don't really work with competitors anymore, obviously. But it's something that, I loved at the time. A part of me will always, be a coach, and I still have athletes that, they touch base with me, send me pictures, for advice, things like that, more so for feedback purposes. But, I'll always love that part of the game, coaching individuals, it was always so fun getting them ready up into the stage. I took a lot of pride in it. I developed a lot of, close relationships with athletes, and it was a hell of a ride. Now I'm just, kind of on the other side of things. So I don't regret anything I did.
So you step away from coaching. What triggered you to want to be a judge?
So I got to be honest, I've always been very intrigued with judging. I'll always say this, I love bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding more than anything. And, being on the sport from all different sides as a competitor, as a coach, like, when you're a judge, it's a lot of hard decisions. It's very serious. And I've always been an individual. I like making hard decisions, and it's one of those things where bodybuilding is such a passion of mine. I live it and breathe it, to where I wanted to play a role in the tough decisions that these judges have to make when placing competitors. And let me tell you, like, judges, they take this shit very seriously. From a true novice class to an overall, to the national level, to the pro level, it's something that, when you have experience as a competitor, as a judge, and what it feels like to be placed in a certain spot, and then when you have the role of placing competitors, it's something you take really seriously. There's pressure. There's decisions that, it can make you lose sleep. And it's taken very seriously. I don't care what show it is. I don't care what level. I don't care what division. Like, I remember my first time in a head judging role. It was a show in New Jersey, and there was a bikini overall, very, very, very close, could have gone either way. And, this is a bikini overall that probably no one remembers, but I lost sleep over it for like 3 weeks. I'm like, did we go the right way on that? I could have went this way. And it's just like, people think that, judges, they judge a show, then it's just, all right, this, place them and then on with the day. Like, no, like the shit can really eat at you, especially when it comes down to really close decisions, because you want to get it right. That's the main thing as a judge. You want to get it right. You want to get it right for the competitors. You want to get it right for the show, and for everyone that's kind of counting on you, for your eye to make the right decision, but there's something about that really drives me. I have a lot of passion for it, and being responsible for playing a role. Obviously, there's more than one judge at a table, but being responsible for having a role in those decisions. And I think that's what gravitated me so much towards that, is just my passion for bodybuilding and wanting to be responsible for tough decisions that have to be made.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Now, I've never judged an NPC show, but there's a few colleges in my area that I kind of work with a lot of the students, and I've had the opportunity to help Slippery Rock University the past 2 years with their bodybuilding club, and then the University of Pitt started their bodybuilding club. And me and my coach basically were the judges. And you're right, it's a subjective sport, so you do want to get it right. The last thing you want to do is, pick somebody who, I don't want to say isn't worthy, but at the same time, I totally understand how you feel on a smaller level, because even just judging those shows, you get multiple people that look really good, and it's like, all right, now you got to start nitpicking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And like, when I work with young competitors and competitors who want to turn pro, who are pro, I tell them the same thing. You want to make it hard for the judges to not pick you. You know what I'm saying? And that's not an easy thing to do. But when you're on stage and the judges are looking at you, if everybody looks good, you got to figure out a way to separate yourself from everybody else to kind of help the judges out. It's real interesting to hear that, because I also expressed that to Gary a few years ago, that when I'm done competing, I have interest in wanting to be a judge, simply for that same reason. It's cool to actually get to meet you too, because I've seen you around. I've never got the opportunity to meet you.
Likewise.
Yeah,
I know who you are. I've just never gotten a chance to talk to you.
Sweet. See, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, I knew you were. I didn't know you were because I didn't know who you were. I didn't know you were an active, like you were a pro. But I seen it in your body. I'm like, he's definitely a pro. Like, you understand? Like the respect was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool to hear when you started your journey and how you're transitioning into being a judge, man. I have a lot of respect for that, man, because you guys will always get talked about too, you know what I'm saying? And I remember one time when I took second place in 2019, a lot of my friends and family was like, "Oh man, that judge picked that person because of this," and I'm like, "Nah, man, you win and you lose, dog. There's no picking somebody because of where they from, where they live. It's like they're up there to pick the best person, the best body. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
and that's what it is. Is like, we always hear stuff like that, like, oh, like this decision was made because of this and everything, but it's really not a thing. And I'm not just trying to, stick up for the judges here, but it's really not a thing. Like it's like most judges don't know people up there. They don't know who's who. They don't know who's from wherever, you know what I mean? And there's multiple judges there. So it's like, not one can influence any other's decisions. And, at the table, like there's, obviously judges want to, agree on things, but there's times where other judges see things differently. And that's why there's 5, 6, 7 there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the beauty of it, is all of them, are educated on what the criteria is, but then it's just sometimes we see things a different way. And it's more about coming to a consensus of like, this person beats this person here, this person beats this person here. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a great process, and it's just when, like I said, when you have passion for the sport and wanting to get the answer right, it can lead for some long days, at the table.
I could imagine.
But that's like you said, Dougie, that's a good thing. Is like when there's a hard class up here, when a hard class comes out, I like being able to say to myself, "Oh shit, this is gonna take a minute," because that's bodybuilding, that's fun. You know what I mean? Across the division, when there's a group of 6 wellness girls out there that all look badass, I'm like, all right, time to go to work. You know what I mean? And
you make them
fun.
work, because I tell the guys too, and from a bodybuilding perspective, you don't want to fade, right? If you're in that mix and they run you through that first round, you better be ready for another round, and you better be ready for another round, because that is what bodybuilding is about, especially on show day. Can you last? I remember my first time in a pose off where I didn't know what was going on, but I knew the longer they kept us up there, I couldn't fold. I knew I had to do my best to hold my composure, even though it was probably the most incredibly difficult thing I remember coming off stage and my core felt like I did 1,000 sit-ups. Hitting vacuums and squeezing. You know what I mean?
And that's the fun part of it, man. Like Chris, while we have you here, like you're Long Island overall. I was head judging that, and like I could have had you guys up there for an hour.
Yeah.
That was a badass overall between you, Gio. The light heavyweight was sick. The middleweight was sick. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I could spend them for hours, but we had to move the show along. But it's just like we love seeing that stuff when it's that competitive, it's close, to where it's like you guys got to work.
I was excited for that show too, because I knew like 3 days out that when Giovanni was doing that show, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm like, yeah, let's go, it's on.
And it's funny when all you guys came out, you know what I mean? Like the first thing I thought to myself was like, this is East Coast bodybuilding. Like all the class winners, it was good. We had some good overalls in the fall at our Northeast shows. It was a lot of fun.
I swear East Coast bodybuilding is a little grittier. Hey, maybe that's just me being, but
hey man,
I think it's the cold.
It's the work.
That's what it is. We have to we have to get through the snow to go train.
Yeah.
We literally have to get up to shovel.
Yeah,
we like
y'all-
cut leg
y'all
days,
feel
like,
different.
shovel our shit out.
Yeah. My friends on the West Coast, you know, like I always say, like, you guys in your fancy cars driving to the gym in the nice weather, you know, we're a little more hardcore out here, and we squat.
We squat. So I gotta, well, this sparks a lot of questions for me. But you know, as competitors, we always have these preconceived notions about what judges are looking for.
Mhm.
When you see the initial class come out, or how do you? I don't know if every judge is the same, and you're taught to judge the exact same, like boom, boom, boom. But when you see a physique come down, like how do you break it down initially? Are you looking first symmetry? Are you looking at the illusion? Are you breaking down body parts right away? How are you initially breaking down a physique or physiques?
Condition gets the first look. Condition's always going to get the first look. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things to where, yeah, we're looking for all condition, shape, and muscle, right? You know, and it's just, a lot of it too depends on the class. You know what I mean? Sometimes the class will come out like, you know, we'll know who our top guys are or top ladies are right away. You know what I mean? Just based on condition and muscularity. But let's say you get a hard class out there. It's, you know, all right, who's in shape? And then we're going to go from there. You know what I mean? Then it's like, who has shape? Okay. And like I said, this is no particular order. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what, being a human, people got to remember judges are human. So what jumps out right away? Condition.
Okay.
You know, then who has muscle? Like, let's say we're talking bodybuilding here. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot of factors that come into it that catch a judge's eye for the first initial look. And then, you know, we may move things around. Then that's when we start getting nitpicky. You know what I mean? You can see who's better where, and, you know, muscularity, who has a little bit more shape, a little more fullness in certain shots. You know, but I would say that first.
So my question,
like, what's that?
So my question to add to that is so once you got that, when it comes down to like pose and shot for shot, what's the process then as far as, let's say somebody's really good from the front, but not so good from the rear, right? Like once they turn around, their posterior is kind of soft. Does that always play a role, or sometimes can?
Oh, yeah. It's a combination of poses too. We got to remember, like, we're talking bodybuilding here. There's several poses, and sometimes when it's close, we go shot for shot. Like a lot of times, like, you know, someone can just be flat out better, you know, and that's not necessary for everyone going shot for shot. But it's just like we see it all the time, to where competitors are dominant from the front, but may not be that great from the back. But they're so dominant from the front, or from the side, they just win more shots. You know, and then you got to make a decision from there. You know, it's funny because as a judge, the number one thing that will go through your mind, like in a show, you know, like let's say a local show, is, if only he or she had a little more of this. If only they had a little more of this. Like, great front double bicep, needs to be harder from the back. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the number one thing that goes through your mind as a judge. You know, in my opinion, to where it's like, because you want to just see everyone at a high level. You want to see everyone level up. So you're already thinking of what feedback to give them. You know what I mean? It's like, like, you know, great from the front, great from the side, need to be better from the back, things like that.
When you have competitors come up to you like post show, you know, and they're looking for feedback, would you say most of the time the feedback, like obviously, especially at the regional level, right? Like we all know it's size. Like it's usually, I mean, obviously conditioning, but like I see so many young competitors that are always like, I need to get the judges' feedback. And you being a judge, do you think that feedback is as important right then, or do you think a lot of competitors should just focus on like, dude, add another 10 pounds, come in even crisper? Like I feel like a lot of times I end up telling my competitors about that because I feel like they get so tied up in what I need to like bring. And a lot of times you're just not there yet, you know. If that makes sense.
That's a great question. That's a great question, Mike. And the reality of it is like a lot of competitors know what they need to improve. A lot of competitors' coaches know what they need to improve. It is great to get the feedback from the judges, the ones that are making the placements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just in case we may see things a little bit different. Sometimes competitors will come up to me after a show and they'll be like, hey, like, yeah, I know I need to be bigger. And I'll be like, well, listen, it was actually a condition that held you back today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's the reality of it. When things are a little closer, decisions made, like, yeah, like that's feedback's crucial. I think feedback's great in every, competitor set, but it's just like, I know what you're trying to say in terms of like, yeah, like what you're saying, like as a coach, you'll know what to tell to a competitor. Like, hey, like you need 10 more pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we knew that going into the show. You know what I mean? And competitors might even know that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it still is good to get that feedback to make sure that direction's clear, for the next one. And also sometimes it can really fire people up. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
when I give feedback, it's like, yeah, you can maybe rip a competitor for something, you need more muscle, you need to be in better shape, but like, point out the things that they do have, the potential that they have, you know what I mean? Because that's important too. You know what I mean? It's important to highlight the aspects that someone needs to improve on, of course, because that's how they're going to get better. But, it's also not a bad thing to let them know what they're doing right.
For sure.
I feel like you're really good at that too. Like when you give me feedback on nationals at Universe, you complimented the strengths and you went at the weaknesses as well. You know what I mean? So you were there on both ends. And I think that's important as far as like judges' feedback. And I think you're right on top of it. When it comes to like regional and national, you respond to people right away. And that's hard to find. And it shows that you actually care, especially in the Northeast.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, man. That means a lot coming from you. People got to remember, judges have lives. A lot of them have a lot more of a life than I do.
Yeah.
But, so some take longer to respond, and that's okay too. But it's like, and that's what I'm saying is, it's important to let a competitor know like the things that they are doing right, because some may not know. You know what I mean? Like, especially especially you specifically, like, I need to tell you, like, hey, your condition was on point, man. Because who knows? I don't know if you're in your head thinking, oh, shit, was I too soft today? Like, no, I need to tell you, like, your condition was on point. We just need more back. We need more of this. You know what I mean? So I do think that highlighting those things that a competitor does have is important.
Yeah, because conditioning is hard for a lot of people. So if you can let somebody know, no, you're good there, bring these other areas up. For me, that's a win. Because I always look at, like you say, I know you look at conditioning, because I always tell people that is hard. I don't care, man, woman, it is not easy to get in condition for a bodybuilding show.
I'll tell you one thing, that's definitely on the top of my list. When I go into a show, I'm like, I'm going to make sure I'm the most conditioned motherfucker in that show.
Yeah, and those are the controllable variables, right?
Yeah, if you can control that, you're in good shape.
Yeah, it's like, not to bring me into this, but you know what I mean? Like me in the 212s, I was fucking 180 pounds, 185 pounds. If my ass was not in shape every time, I wasn't getting looked at. I wasn't getting looked at. So it's like, all right, here's the variable that I can control. I'm not going to be as big as a Kareth, or you know what I mean, or as round as a Sean Clarita, but like I can control my condition. You know what I mean? And any competitors, when you have those variables that you can control, like you got to suffer for it, but that's what's going to get you that step further.
That sparks like a different question for me as a coach, or when you were coaching and as a judge now. When do you tell a competitor at the regional level, all right, we're ready to step up to nationals? Or if they're asking about it, do you have like a threshold, like, all right, we're winning, we're winning a class, we're winning an overall? Or do you let competitors, if they want, step on the national stage, even if they're not ready, just to realize this is a different level of competition?
So two different things here. One, it depends on the shows, the quality of the shows that they're winning or not winning. You know, it also comes down to like a coach being educated on what the national level looks like, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could have a guy or a girl that's qualifying at a show, local level, and they just run into a badass competitor that day and they play second. Are you not going to send them to nationals 3 weeks later when they just lost to another national level competitor? Yep. When they might both be in first call out at that national show? So it's really dependent on the eye understanding what is a national level physique and then analyzing it from there. You know, because it's like, I can think of, for example, let's see, 2015. Well, I'm old. Nick Pinero. We went to Easterns for a qualification. He took second to Amit Roy in the middleweights. Nick was conditioned out of his mind. Maybe a punch in the gut when your plan is the nationals. But Amit, he wasn't, I don't think he was a citizen at the time, so we couldn't do nationals. But Nick ended up making first call at nationals. You know what I mean? So although he lost that day at Easterns, he still moved on because he still had a national level physique. And he ended up being in first call. I think he was like fifth or something at his first national show. So it's like, there's an example where it's like, yeah, he lost at the local level. On paper, yeah, a coach might not want to send someone to the next level unless they get that class win, unless they get that overall win. But in that kind of case, it's got to be analyzed.
Yeah, I think like
now,
you said, it depends
other
on the caliber
aspect of things, and we know, I'm sure you guys know what I'm going to say is a class and there's 5 guys there and they're not looking so great. And then they want to move on to the national level. And it's like, wait a minute, you may have won that, but you know, you're kind of on a different planet if you want to take the next step. And then it's like, you got to analyze from there, you know, and as a coach, Mike, like you're going to be thrown in all those positions, you know, and have to make all those decisions. But
yeah, I think like you said, it really depends on the caliber of the bodybuilders that you're going up against. Cause I was thankful that I had a good coach from the standpoint of understanding when you're nationally ready. Like I always say, just because you're nationally qualified don't mean you're nationally ready. Because a lot of times we see that, you know, and I remember doing a show with a guy and he was just so happy that he placed second and qualified for nationals. And I just remember thinking like, for me, where I was at in bodybuilding, that wasn't the goal, was to just qualify. And every time I've competed, I qualified for nationals. I only did it one time because I didn't want to do it until I felt I was ready, you know, because it's a lot of money, depending on, especially if you got to travel and all of that stuff. I was fortunate I didn't have to travel living in Pittsburgh. I was able to just do North Americans. But at the same time, you know, I remember in 2019, my goal was to do nationals in 2019. I won the West Virginia overall. Gary talked me and my coach into doing the Pittsburgh. I wasn't going to do it that year because I still felt like I needed more time to develop and grow. I go do the Pittsburgh and I lose to Antonio Cummins. I was pissed, right? I'm just coming off the high of the West Virginia, but he goes on to Junior Nats and wins his pro card. So I was like, I wasn't mad that I lost, especially after that. And then the feedback I got from the judges, I just hammered down and did, you know, took care of business the next year. But I like to express that to people. I like to say that all the time because you want to make every bodybuilding show count, depending on what type of, how you look at bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Now, if you just do it for the fun of it, like I enjoy it. It's fun to me. So I want to win, but if I don't win, I'm not jumping off a bridge or hanging myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to figure out how to get better. And, you know, I believe I'm doing it for the right reason. I think sometimes people aren't. And, you know, in their mind, they're going to turn pro in 1 to 2 years. And I'm like, bro, that ain't like that for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like for most people, it takes a long time and it takes dedication, you know? So I always tell people, chase that pro physique, because when you have the pro physique, you'll turn pro. It's like you said, if you got 2 high caliber bodybuilders in the same area, it's likely they can run into each other. Sure, they want to run into each other. But if you're a high caliber bodybuilder, I wouldn't allow that to discourage you if you did take second and you're trying to get your pro card. You know what I mean? So I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, and it's funny. It brings up a point. Like, all 5 of us here, we've all been doing this for, quite some time, and I'm sure all 5 of us, we have the bodybuilding mindset to where we just wanted to improve, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we weren't thinking like, oh, I got to be at nationals my second year competing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we live in a day to where people want things fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this group here, we come from a time to where, like, when we did our first show, it was like, oh, I got to go get my IFBB pro card now. Like, no, we just wanted to improve as bodybuilders.
I just wanted to look like I belong on stage.
Exactly. And the next year, we just wanted to improve as bodybuilders.
Exactly.
And then wherever it takes you, it takes you. Nowadays, it's, it's a lot of the younger guys. It's like if they're not a pro after 2 years, that they think they suck and this shit's not for them.
It's such a crazy thing. Like, that mentality is so wild to me. The thought that, like, these competitors come to me and they're like, yeah, I want to become an IFBB pro. And like you said, man, that was so far out of my realm of thinking when I started. Like, I didn't think about really becoming a pro till like my second national show. Like,
they're doing it for the wrong reason.
It was strictly just, all right, next year, can I be 6 pounds heavier on stage and a little leaner? Like, that's what I'm hoping for.
It's bodybuilding.
This new mentality of like, and I know that's what gets shown on social media, right? You get the 2 show pros, and that's what gets the glory, but that is not.
Because people think that's people think the 2 show pro thing is like everybody.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. The one thing that scares the living daylights out of me, and I know that Sam has a great physique, is that Sam wins at Vegas and then he goes to Arnold Amateur and he becomes a pro. This world is in fucking trouble. The only reason I say that is because of how much fame that kid has, and he goes 2 show pro. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way because that kid he's a genetic phenom. And those guys come along, like, they don't come along very often.
Yeah, but he still did put in time though too. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with that. But everyone else who's unrealistic is going to look at that and be like, I can fucking, if Sam did it, I can do it. No, Sam can do it because he has the genetics for it. And he puts the hard work and dedication into it as well. That's far-fetched. Mike, me and you dealt with this last year where a kid came to you and me, and the kid was talking about wanting to win a regional show, becoming a pro, winning a pro show, and going to the Olympia all in the same fucking year. Like, they're fucking high.
And like that is so highly unlikely. I mean, there have been people that have done that, like Jamie Pinder, for example, turned pro, won her first pro show, and then did the Olympia that year. And I think she maybe got like last call out. You know what I mean?
Derek Lunsford did it.
And I think Derek Lunsford, did the same.
I remember that.
These are like maybe a handful of people.
Andrew Jack, I could probably count on 5 hands, female and male, that have done that probably within the last 10 years, but they're also fucking genetic freaks.
It's
not something that happens every day.
You know what's sad too on the opposite end of that? Like, I'm neither here nor there for Sam Solik. I think the way he trains is awesome. I'm happy for him. But, if he doesn't win, the amount of hate he's going to get, like, oh, he's trash. He's all this.
You suck.
Like, it is his first show ever. He has a great physique regardless of if he wins or loses. Like, the people's mindsets are just so far removed from what reality actually is because he's so hyped up on social media. They're like, if he doesn't win, he's fucked if he does, fucked if he doesn't, honestly. Like,
I think he has some, I don't like really follow him too much. I of course know who he is. I think he's got some balls. I like that because it's like, what happens if this kid goes in this weekend and some freak is there and he plays second?
Yeah.
He's got to go explain that to his following. And you know what I mean? Like, no, like he's doing it. He's qualifying. He's going to the Arnold Amateur. Like, he's stepping up. He's bodybuilding. He's not just being a YouTube guy anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It takes some balls. I got respect for that because he could lose, and he knows that he could lose. And you know, half of his following isn't going to understand that. I mean, guys, like all of you guys, when you do a national level show and you go back to your hometown or whatever, and you're telling a family member or something that, oh, like, hey, I placed third, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, well, like, that's not nothing to be sorry about. Like, it was a great show. Imagine if this kid has to go announce on his YouTube, I didn't win my pro card this year.
Yeah.
You know, that young following is going to be like, what? You know?
They don't
I
get
like
how
it.
hard
He has
it
the
is.
balls.
It's very difficult. I mean, I started competing in 2009. My first NPC show that I ever did, NPC Northern Cup, I won the light heavyweight class, and obviously I qualified for nationals. I didn't do my first national show until 2023 because I just never felt like I was ready to be there. You know, some people it takes time. There's other people that they respond super fast. Like the middleweight at nationals this year, Tofik is a friend of mine. He's been bodybuilding for 18 months. 18 months pro.
you know, and Chris, like, you know, to give you your flowers, man, like, you know, you're a guy that over the past few years, you've always been doing this a long time. You've been doing this longer than I have. The improvements that you've made, like when I saw you come out on Long Island, I'm just like, this motherfucker looks good. You know what I mean? And then on to, you know, to the national level where, okay, like, did you get your pro card? No. But the level of your physique that you brought and for how long you've been doing this and that you continue to level up rather than just saying like, oh, you know, fuck this shit. You consistently do it year after year and you get better. Like, to me, that shit's impressive. That's bodybuilding.
That's a fact.
I love it.
You don't need a pro card to feel fulfilled as a bodybuilder.
That's right.
You're doing it for the right fucking reason. Bottom line.
Yeah.
I just do it.
It's eventually gonna come.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it for social media. I just did it to challenge myself and just improve.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny. I got to tell you this. When you came out on Long Island, and like, you know, it was Steve was head judging. Zach was next to me. I look at Steve. I'm like, you should see this motherfucker squat. And he's like, it looks it.
Yeah. I wish that people understood bodybuilding for what it is. And it's like you said, it's cool when people don't need validation. Right. I think that's the most important piece for me. You know, like when I started, my dad got me into bodybuilding. I was always familiar with it, but you know, when I started, I just wanted to look like I belong, and then I just wanted to progress. Like for me, the winning is the byproduct of just the hard work and the dedication. And as a bodybuilder, most people don't realize you'll probably lose more than you win unless you're a genetic freak, you know. And I understood that early on when I started bodybuilding. I thought I started too old. I didn't do my first show till I was 31 years old. And I did it just to do it. I was starting to get bored with the gym, and I didn't even have a coach. I didn't even know bodybuilders had coaches. I didn't know anything, you know, but I wanted to learn, and I loved the discipline that it gave me. You know, it was like bodybuilding helped me in my life in general. You know, we still have our trials and tribulations, but I feel like mentally and physically, bodybuilding gave me what I lost when I stopped playing football in college. You know, some structure into my life, give me some purpose, and I became very passionate about it. You know what I mean? I never thought I would be a pro. You know what I mean? I respected the sport enough to know how hard it is to win a pro card. I feel like some people disrespect the sport when I'm gonna turn pro in 1 year. To me, I cringe because I'm like, you mentally don't understand what you're about to get into. You know, like I made a post today, you know, because some people are like, oh man, I got this problem going on. I got this problem on. Prep's getting hard. And it's like, you'll never do a prep where you don't have no problems. So if you can't deal with this shit now, don't even think about trying to do this shit for the next 10 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? the tire bust on your car. Now you can't do your cardio and you can't go train and you skip 3 meals because your tire busted. You don't understand what you're doing this for. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually a week out. I was a week out at Long Island, and I was visiting accounts working. I still travel a lot, and I actually came out and my tire was flat. It blew up. So I'm like, I'm tired, and I'm like, here I am changing my tire. I had all my meals with me. I'm like, I'm gonna get home. It's just you just don't make excuses. You find solutions.
Yeah,
and that's really the way it is.
Thanks.
And Doug, on that note, like like coming from like an athlete background, I find that your competitors that come from like that athletic background, sports backgrounds, they really know how to take it to the next level because you come from a team sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they already know the competitive edge, the edge to want to win. Now you bring it to an individual sport to where everything is in their control. There's no coach giving them playing time. There's no nothing. Like what they put into it is going to get out of it. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Having that background and then now putting it all on them to where it's that one individual sport. Like I just find that athletes make really, really good competitors.
See, I played sports all through high school. I was when I was small, I was a point guard. We went to states and won. I played football. I played tennis. I played baseball. I played competitive table tennis. And that was probably my best sport that I was at. Was table tennis. My whole thing is like I would hate it when like someone on our team like screws up and blows the game and we lose. And at the same time too, I would also hate it when like if I screwed up and it cost us the game. But with bodybuilding, it's like you're in control of all those variables that you can control. It all falls on you. It's like you don't want to eat your food, you don't want to do cardio, you don't want to do this, you want to fuck off. It's going to reflect how you look, and you don't have really a lot of margin for error, which is why I like that, because it's just you and it's you against you. It's not against other competitors. It's always you against you. It's like, how can I be better? How can I level up? How can I improve? And when you fall in love with that process, you don't go like, oh, I want to turn pro. It's like if you fall in love with the process of getting up on stage and having fun, and you keep making improvements, those wins are going to be an eventual byproduct of your hard work.
Well, that's the problem. It's like people get caught up in who's showing up to the show. Don't get caught up in who's showing up to the show. Get caught up in your results and your progress. You can only control yourself. That's it.
I'll be honest though, this year for nationals, like I was on Instagram and I was looking at all the competitors doing stuff, and I was getting super excited. I'm like, I get to stand up there with these guys. Like, let's see how I do. Like that gets me excited. And I actually made friends with a bunch of them. I've made so many good friends from being in this industry for so long. And like you guys, it's awesome.
I would say, believe it or not, like me and Mike got way tighter this year because we competed with each other at Universe. We started talking about it. We started talking about it at the main show, and Justin was there judging. But like that's where me and Mike's relationship just like took off. It's because 100%. We were competing together and we were going to step on the stage together.
The guys that
I've known Justin for over a decade.
The guys that do this for the right reasons, I always find that even competing against each other, with each other, same show, whatever, like, everybody's out for blood, as it should be. This is competition, but there's always going to be that mutual respect to where it's like, I know what you put into this. It's the same thing I put into this, and that's where it's like, at the end of the day, we're all doing the same.
That was the best part.
It is.
That was the best part. We were sitting backstage with each other. Like,
it's like
before we stepped on stage. And then like, once you step on stage, it's gloves are off, but like, you didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like everybody, when you go to a national show, everybody's a little on edge before, but as soon as prejudging's over, man, it's like, everybody takes a sigh of relief. And it's like, I've made so many friendships that like, all my friends at this point in life, pretty much I made through bodybuilding or some aspect of bodybuilding. Like, because those, like you said, Justin, those people respect what you've gone through because you've all gone through the same thing. And now it's just time to be like, you just kick back, relax, and you make those friendships, and those friendships last and they mean something. I don't know. They mean something more to me than, I'm not going to say friendships that I've made in regular life, but it seems like a weird, deeper connection, friendship or bond, I guess, because I think it's such a small, closed circle of people that really do this at that higher level. So it's easier to relate to people who are similar mindsets as you. And I think that's
because at the elite level, national level, like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of balance.
yeah,
This shit's your, we all have jobs, we have things that we need to execute, family stuff like that, but like, at the end of the day, it's bodybuilding. You know what I mean? So especially at that level, because you don't get to that level by just, being half in.
Man, when I tell people what I did that year I turned pro, I don't know if I could do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like when I had that job, I don't know how I did it in the first place.
Wait, Dougie, were you North Americans?
Yeah, 2020.
All right, hold on. This is how much of a nerd I am with bodybuilding. You won the 35s and the light heavies?
Yep, I beat Eric
Okay,
Wood.
all right. I thought so. That's how I remember you. I'm like, I remember you won the masses, and then you also won the open light heavies.
And I did the open just as a fuck it because I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, absolutely.
I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm like, I was feeling good, and I was like, I paid for it. I'm gonna just do it. I already got my pro card. I honestly didn't care. I didn't think I was gonna win. Like to me, Eric Wood was spot on. You know what I'm saying?
Eric Wood, okay.
Because then he came back the following year, bumped up to heavy, and won the whole fucking thing the next year. You know what I'm saying? But it was a great experience for me because I was a huge fan of Marty and Nick. So I got to meet both of them. And then I was in the overall with them at the end. You know what I mean? And I remember at the end, I was talking to Nick and Matt. And Nick goes, yo, man, how you got 2 medals? I said, oh, I won the Masters. He said, oh, you're old. I said, yeah, bro, I'm old. You know what I mean? But like stuff like that, for me, the relationships I've been able to create since I started bodybuilding, it's phenomenal. I just remember being on the outside looking in, and now I'm on the inside, and it's an amazing feeling. And the mutual respect for that we all have for each other, to me, is one of the best things about it. The camaraderie. It's like you said, before we get on stage, I got my headphones on, I'm locked in, I'm manifested, I want to win. But after prejudging and all of that, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm also a fan of the sport. So I'm also a fan of a lot of people that I compete against, and I'm even a fan of amateurs, like people who I see who have that potential, because I know what you do to look the way that you look. I just admire it. I love it.
Yep. Justin, I gotta ask.
It's interesting too, because I've heard from a few different competitors that like there's always some tension backstage at like local and regional levels. Like there's some people that are a little cocky and arrogant and whatnot. But what I've noticed the last 2 years I've done nationals, when you're backstage, like everyone's super friendly. It's like, we're all there to do a job, but there's no need to be
a dick.
A dick. Yeah, absolutely not.
100%. Justin, how much caffeine do you ingest a day during judging season?
Wait, say that again. You cut out.
How much caffeine do you ingest a day during judging season?
All right, so coffee in the morning. On a Saturday morning. Let's say it's Saturday morning. I got my whole routine. Yeah. This is a protocol. All right, so I go to
judging
breakfast.
Protocol.
I do my 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then pre-judging, I'll do another coffee, and then at night time for the night show, that's when I'll do my ghosts.
Okay.
But now listen, like something like the universe, that was a whole different ball game. Like when I tell you guys, because I was 3 days straight, I literally like manipulated my fluids. I'm not bullshitting you. Like I was actually cautious of like how much, because I didn't want to be getting up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tyler would give us like a 5-minute break and everything, but like I literally, I'm sitting there milking a ghost like the whole day, because I'm like, I don't want to have to piss all day. You know what I mean? So the universe, that's a whole different beast. But like that's the protocol for an average Saturday show.
Dad,
You
you
know,
don't
Okay.
even think about that. Yeah, like you guys, when you have them long, grueling days and you got to go to the bathroom, shit, I ain't even think about that.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that asshole like continuing to like get up because I'm just slugging energy drinks all day long.
That's like when you work. That's like when you work in expo and you're like there nonstop talking with people, and it's just like you're just drinking bangs, like those 16-ounce things of water.
And the bathroom is probably on the other side of the expo.
Yeah, you have to it's like a whole hike. It's like a mile away.
How gross do those bathrooms get at expos? There ain't no way they're not disgusting. I've
Let me
never
tell
been
you
to like a
something.
major.
I'm not looking forward to finding out in a couple of weeks.
They're terrible.
Hey, who's going to the
there
Arnold?
are
I'll be
people
there.
that just.
I'm there.
I should be there. I think I should be
I'll
there.
be there.
Wait, so 4 of us are going? Mike? No?
Yeah.
I'm going.
I was supposed to, but I cannot this year.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just booked my plane ticket literally yesterday.
Dig
Damn.
Mike,
Yeah,
what the fuck, man?
I can't afford 2 vacations in March.
No, I know.
I could dig
Or I
it.
would.
Dig it.
I wanted to so bad, but I just cannot financially swing it right now. I got something in my eye. Damn it. Brendan, how's the vault going, bro?
6 pounds in 10 days. So
All right.
you haven't pushed food yet. So
No, that's awesome.
no.
In training solid. I see.
Yeah.
It looks solid.
Yeah.
Can I ask what's your plan, Brendan?
Well, so I don't know if you know.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No. You're good. You're good. So back in November, I was going through some personal stuff. October, November, and I stepped away from Chris, and I didn't even plan. I just planned to get my head straight and deal with the personal stuff that I was going through and everything like that. I stepped away, and then probably in the beginning of January, I just was talking with Luke Pritchard, who's on here with us all the time, but I don't know where he is tonight. And he just told me how good it was to work with Blue, and I just felt like maybe it was time for a change, and I started working with Blue Taylor.
Okay.
So Blue. We talked on this past Tuesday, and we went from potentially competing next year and doing North Americans in 26. But now he's like, dude, with the progress that you've already made in the last 10 days, he's like, maybe we could do a show this year. Maybe we could do nationals at the end of the year. So it could be potentially I might be stepping on stage for New England's to qualify for Master USA's at the end of November.
Good shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that could be potentially a plan depending on what happens he goes, whatever happens in the next 10 to 12 weeks will determine what we do for the rest of the year. So, I mean, we're already up 6. We haven't even touched food yet, and we're already up 6 pounds in 10 days. So
nice.
We're in good
That's
shape.
awesome.
So we'll see what happens.
Doug, how was prep going?
I know for a fact, with what you told me I need to improve on, that's gone a long way in my mindset. So I'm unless I feel like I'm at that level where I can compete on a national level better, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Doug, how's prep going, bro?
Prep's going pretty cool, man. No complaints. I had to get a cyst removed off my back. So, yeah, but it wasn't, I caught it before it got out of hand. You know what I'm saying? So it was actually kind of cool. And where it's at on my back, it's not affecting my training. And the way I had it set up, I'm good. So I did my back training on Monday. I got it taken off Tuesday after I trained chest. And yesterday was my off day. Today was my leg day. So tomorrow's an auxiliary day. So I'm good. But as far as it's the best I felt in a long time, man. But I attribute that to just getting more sleep, making sure I'm eating my food, doing the little things, you know what I'm saying? Stretching, mobility work, like I told you guys before, I never feel sluggish or bad when I'm cruising. So You know what I mean? Now we roll into prep. I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for this year. I believe I can go to Tokyo and win that Masters 212. I believe that.
Fuck yeah.
So that's my goal.
Hell yeah. Have you not to change the subject weird as hell, but you said you got sister. Have any of you guys ever had skin tag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of them?
You.
How do you get rid of them? You just cut them off?
No, they will.
I kind of just left it.
Yeah.
So
My
is
dad-
that
my
when you
dad
have
had
that
one.
little piece of skin?
Yes. Yes.
You fucking see Mike with an X-Acto knife when we get off
Bro,
the
I
podcast.
touched it with a razor blade and it hurt so bad. I was like, somebody was like, just cut it off. I was like, just what?
I'd probably consult a doctor
It'll
before
just
you do that.
bleed and bleed and bleed. Like when I was a little kid, my dad had one like in his armpit, and I just grabbed it and ripped it off, and that thing just bled. Like it just kept.
What the
bleeding.
fuck?
I'm like, oh, what is this? Yoink.
Did your dad beat your ass?
Oh, yeah, my dad was a boxer, and so I caught hands. I knocked down and found out.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can they burn them off? Is it like a wart? Where
I went to a dermatologist, so I'm sure if you go to a dermatologist, they have some kind of like procedure to get rid of it.
I think they freeze those off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
freeze.
what I
Like,
was
yeah,
looking
they'll burn it off and freeze
Yeah.
it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they do with warts. So I probably think they would do the same thing. For
I
that.
still got to get this thing removed off my head.
Oh fuck, that's
What's
gonna
that?
hurt.
I've actually cut it out a bunch of times already, but I can't get the actual head, so it just keeps growing back.
What is it?
It's a pilar cyst.
Okay.
So when you like
Oh,
pop
yeah.
it out, it's like a white, like irregular shaped ball. It almost looks like a molar, like a baby molar.
Chris, go see Pimple Popper, Dr. Pimple Popper.
I hate that shit. I hate that.
Yeah.
Bro, I cannot stand watching people pop fluid and stuff out of their body. It gets me very, very nauseous.
I watch that show every time I've seen
No,
that.
it's
show, I
funny.
watch that. I'm like,
It always comes out like frosting. Like the pus is like so thick, it's like frosting. Looks like what's in a cannoli. They're popping it out.
dude, come on, females love that shit.
My
Yeah, they
fiance will literally
They'll
just
fucking
attack
pop
me.
anything.
Yeah, my wife wanted to pop my cyst. I said, absolutely not.
I don't know what it is. They get off on that shit.
I know. I don't. Shay does it all the time. I'll be like, "Hey, can you scratch my back?" And she'll start scratching my back, and then all of a sudden she's like popping shit, and I'm like, please, just scratch my back. You're not hitting me like a chimp.
Sounds so familiar.
So there were a couple questions for Justin. This one's a good one to start off with. Who did you look up to or do look up to in the bodybuilding world?
Jose Raymond.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Jose Raymond, he was my guy. It's just so funny because like I remember like I would always try to go to like Jose's appearances, whether it was like if he was like judging at the Cutler. I remember my first Cutler was 2012 and he was there. I remember me and my friend Ariello drove all the way to Pennsylvania because he'd be at the Dana Lynn Bailey seminar. Like if he was at ANC or something, like I was just a big fan. And then like, sure enough, down the road, he ended up coaching me and then we ended up becoming good friends. And yeah, I would say he's probably been like my, kind of like number one idol in the sport. He still is, you know what I mean? I just saw him the other day at Gym Hub and like, I'll always look up to Jose just like how it was when, I was, 21 years old, but Jay Cutler, I mean, if you're a New England guy and you don't look up to Jay Cutler, then that's a little weird,
Agreed.
and then of course, John Meadows, obviously I worked for John with Granite Supplements and just everything that he brought to the industry and his teachings and everything. There was no one like him, so. But I would say those are my three guys.
That's what's up.
Solid three.
That's a solid three. Can we say Jose Raymond might be the best natural bodybuilder that there ever has been? I was just watching he was on It's Just Bodybuilding, and I was watching that one. And he's talking about how many times he turned down his pro card.
8
and how he
times,
just
wasn't it?
didn't
Yeah.
start gear. He won what? He won 4 pro cards, 5 pro cards, or something like that.
Shit, I can't believe I don't know this. I think
thought
he
it was
took it on
8.
his 5th.
His 5th, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so for everyone out there, just listen to that. He turned down 4 pro cards 4 times because he was a pro physique and he knew he could win again.
Mhm.
So don't chase the pro card, but you're
Yeah,
also probably not
With
Jose.
Jose,
So wait a
too,
minute. Say that again.
they
So you're
didn't
saying
have, they
he
had the
turned it
202
down?
class.
Yes, because
Yeah.
he felt like he was not ready. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He goes,
Huh?
I can't compete on a. He goes, I cannot compete because back then
They didn't have a, they didn't have a,
Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but they didn't have the 212 or the.
it was just open.
It was
wasn't
just
until they,
open.
it was one until they had either 202 or 205 is when he accepted his pro card.
Exactly,
202.
because he said,
202,
he goes,
yeah.
I know I can't compete against the big dogs. Well, what's the point? I'm going to keep growing and keep progressing until I feel like I'm ready.
Yeah.
So he was one of the people who's bodybuilding for the right reason. He
Right.
wasn't doing it for nothing else other than himself.
Yeah, he said he loved
I
it.
love to hear that.
And you know what's great about Jose? Even though he's like a pro, he's won the Arnold Classic in 212. Like he just loves bodybuilding. Like I've hung out with Jose many times over the years, and he'd be like, "Oh, Chris, look at this like local competitor," and he'll be like, "Show me a picture of a local competitor." Like he follows local competitors, regional level, national level. Like he just loves the sport.
Oh yeah, like I love judging with Jose, you know, because one, I think he's got one of the best eyes ever in bodybuilding, and two, like he's just like you said, Chris, he loves this shit. You know what I mean? Could be a novice class up there, whatever. You know, like he loves this stuff. You know, and he's going to give everyone a look, and he's going to get excited about, you know, the kid that may not be there yet, but you know, he knows 5 years down the road he will be. Like he just has that emphasis, you know.
Yeah, Jose over the years always used to call me fat. He'd be like, "You're still fat. You're still fat," because he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and I wouldn't expect him to. I don't like that. And then, you know, after the last couple of years, especially after this year's nationals at the prejudging, he texted me and he's like, "You looked fucking good, buddy." He's like, "Great job." You know, that meant a lot because he's always been like, "You're fat. You're fat." You know.
That's insane to turn down your pro card. That's insane. I don't know anybody who would ever do that.
Not in this day and age.
Yeah, most people will, you know, it's no knock, but you know, it is what it is. People will take it in any way they can get it.
Changing that Instagram bio, baby.
Yeah. This is a funny one to me. While coaching, what percentage of competitors or your competitors do you think took the off season seriously? If you were just to put a number on it.
That's a damn good question, actually. When I was coaching, I was pretty grateful to work with, you know, a lot of serious competitors, a lot of like young serious competitors too. I would say that shifted like as, you know, time went on, and you know, like bodybuilding got to be a little bit different, the way social media, things like that. But I would say maybe 60-40. There was a lot of competitors that, you know, had so much potential. A lot of like really good competitors that still didn't really capitalize on their off seasons. It just wasn't a 365 thing for them. And it would bother me as a coach. Like you just like, damn, like I wish he would just do this year round.
You see the potential.
You know what I mean? I would, if I had to put a number on it, maybe 60-40, 60% being serious, like year round. And, you know, I was always, you know, pretty honest, like, hey, like, that's fine that you want to go on 5 vacations and forget about bodybuilding during that time. But it's like, you're only going to get so far.
Yeah.
You know?
Justin, I got a question to like bounce off you on that one. Like, do you feel like it's difficult when people have that kind of a mindset, when your mindset is a lot different and you're just like, because I find it like I know, and I'm sure like any of you would probably feel the same way, is like when you sit back and you're like, what the fuck? They have so much potential. Like, don't you, like, you're sitting there and you're like, I wish you had my fucking mindset in like your head and you would just use it. Like, Jesus, dude.
100%. And that's a great question. And like, for all of us, we're very passionate about bodybuilding, and it's like, you just wish that, like, it's like, why don't you love this as much as me? you know what I mean? But it's like, I will say, like, you guys coaching in this modern day, you're probably going to deal with that a little more than what I did, because it's 2025, and, not to disrespect anybody, there's a lot of people, getting into the stuff that just don't really know what kind of road it takes to be an elite level competitor. You know what I mean? And it's like, to talk about your question, Brennan, it's just like, yeah, it sucked. It sucked, especially when you got good physiques, because as we know, it's a very genetic sport. And when God gives someone something that they're not taking advantage of, it's like,
I want to add something to that too. I have a few lifestyle clients, and they train harder and take things more serious than some of my competitors. And I'm almost like, will you just let me prep you for a show? I love it. And they're like, no, I just want to do this for me. I just want to push myself. He's like, I've got nothing to prove on stage. I just want to just look good and just keep pushing myself. And I'm just like,
they work harder than a competitor.
I know.
And then you saw him in a front double bicep, and you're like, are you sure you don't want
to? Yeah, that's always frustrating, because it's like, you could do pretty damn good.
But that's the good kind of frustration.
Yeah, of course, And then I've had other clients too, where I'm just like, I've had to have a talk with one of them, like, look, man, like, I know you want this, but you say you want to turn pro. It's like your dream. It's like, you need to do what pros do, even as an amateur, because otherwise you're not going to get there.
Yeah, the old saying goes, you need to act like a pro as an amateur.
Exactly. And there's really a lot of merit to that.
Yeah.
My thing was like, the thing that went up my ass was like alcohol, right? Like, listen, someone's in their off season, a few drinks, like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not going to kill. But like, when I used to work with like a younger crowd, and it's just like, guys, like, you got to pick one. You got to either be a bodybuilder or not be getting fucking pissed drunk, with your boys or with your friends, like on the weekends. It's like, and that bothered me, because it's like, I'm not a drinker. Like, college and high school I was, but it's like, you don't think that all of us want to fucking kick back and get drunk once in a while? Like, yeah, this shit's fun. You know what I mean? To let loose, but like, we don't, because we want this instead.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is that, like, they're dumb enough at this age that they blast it all over social media in their stories, and then they don't check in on Saturday, and then they text you on Sunday. They're like, "Oh, sorry, I missed checking. I was really busy." Oh, yeah, really busy getting fucking shit cocked. You mean?
You know what else?
Like, there goes your training for the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
You just threw the last 2 weeks of progression right out the window. Good job.
I had a client years ago. I actually dropped him after I found this out, because I'm just like, you're wasting my time and you're a money. But I'd give him like a high day with like a cheat meal, and he would take the cheat meal and do like a mathematical conversion to how many alcoholic drinks you can get. So, and I'm just like I can lead the horse to the water, but I can't make him drink it.
But listen, some of the stuff, like, isn't it like something like that? Like, you just gotta laugh at that.
I did laugh.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and get pissed off. Never. You got to be
like that. That's you care more about drinking, sir, than actually being a competitive bodybuilder. So I think that's where you should go.
You know what
I always
else?
tell people, like, listen, like, overall winners of your contests, they're not doing that shit.
No.
I mean, national, they're not doing that shit. Like, and judges will know who takes the shit seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I would just like leave it at that. You know,
it shows when you go from one show to an off season to the next show, like, you're going to see who put the work in.
Yep.
And like the one thing I used to say too was like, this would like really kind of sink into people, like, hey, like, that your body is going to be compared against another person's body to determine whose is better.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
like be alpha with it, okay? Like,
yeah. Also, if you choose the bodybuilding route and then you do decide to drink in a year's time, it's gonna take so many less drinks to get drunk. You're gonna be able to be like me, and I can have.
I have a glass of wine and I'm hammered.
It takes you a week to recover. It takes you 4 business days to recover.
You give me 2 drinks and I'm fucking crawling on the floor.
Yeah.
When I used to be able to, like back in like high school and like those early like 20s, dude, it would take fucking like 12, 14 Long Islands for me to even like feel a buzz. You give me one of those things now, I'm fucking throwing up.
Yeah.
Cheap night.
100%.
Cheap date.
Yeah.
It's like you got a high performance sports car like a Ferrari or a Lambo, and then you just put sugar in the gas tank and expect it to run properly. You know.
Good analogy.
All right, Justin, let's do your top 5 at the Arnold in men's open.
He's got put on the spot.
That's all right. That's all right. I like this shit. Okay, I won't play the whole like, well, it depends this, it depends that. Like, I'm gonna say it how I am predicting how it's gonna happen. Derek 1.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
I know I got some balls, huh? Samson 2. Andrew 3. All right, here's where you guys need to help me out. I know Carlos is doing it.
Akeem.
All right, so there's my top 3, but like, if we're talking everyone at 100%, you know,
James Hollingshead.
What's that?
James Hollingshead.
Brandon Curry.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a sick show.
Yes.
Honestly,
excited.
like I'm so fucking excited for the show.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm just like,
I'm so amped for it.
All right, who do we need? 4 and 5.
Yeah, you want me to pull up a list?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I hate to be difficult, but
no, we all needed to see it. Yeah, because you're when you hear certain names, you're like, oh shit,
dude,
shit.
like doesn't on Carlos beat Bonac?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because Carlos
Dude,
brought his backup.
Justin, did you see the post that Carlos put up last night?
No, not last night. Not last night.
The legs? Oh my god.
His fucking legs look ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how he got so bubbly.
Let's go for it.
It looks like legs from like a 30th century man. Like, dude.
My only concern, and I love Carlos, I love his father. Like, my only concern is the back. Let's put him in 4th.
Yeah.
And then 5th. So who do we have left? We have Bonac. Okay, I see the picture right there. I'm gonna go with Keem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Akeem in 5th. I don't know between Carlos and Akeem, if I'm being honest. We'll put Carlos in 4th. I love Akeem. When he's on, he's a freak. That's my top 5.
I like it. I mean, I think the Derek is pretty ballsy.
But is it because he is a Mr. Olympia?
Thank you, Dougie.
You know what I'm saying? He is.
He's in a Mr. Olympia.
Listen, I'll say this. Samson's probably going to be improved because he looks great. But, like, Derek's not going to miss again.
No,
and
not especially with Aceto.
That and it's just when you get it on Derek, it's fucking unbelievable. And same thing with Samson, but it's like I think that Derek has something to prove, and I think we're gonna see that.
I also think if that happens, Justin, I think it's going to stir up bodybuilding for the next.
Hell yeah! It's going to set up
the next
great
7 to 8
Olympia.
months until the Olympia.
But that's good shit.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. You know, the one thing about Samson too, though, is he still has that fire just from his upbringing and his life beforehand. Like he always has that, I think, in the back of his mind. So he doesn't. I don't think he ever views himself as like I'm Mr. Olympia. He's like, yeah, he was Mr. Olympia then, but it's now another show, and it's like he has that mindset going into that. Like I'm going to give this
like.
And
I saw the
that's
videos
dangerous right there.
Yeah,
Very,
I saw the videos that he posted today, Samson, and like it's probably the most grainy I've ever seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he's doing like tricep push downs, and he has that dry, grainy look. And
I always felt like if he can get better conditioning, he's lights out because he's so big. Right? Yeah. But I know I know he's got thick skin, so I know it's hard to get lean and grainy when you got thick skin like that. You know what I'm saying?
You look at Derek from the back, and it's just like you feel like Derek has one of the best backs of all time. Not saying he is the best, but it's definitely the top 3. I would probably.
Yeah, Derek's back is retarded.
Shit, you guys got me thinking about Carlos versus Akeem now.
Yeah,
I would love to see that top 5 like all together. Like
I think Carlos brought up his back pretty good too from the last time he did in Texas. So it's gonna be. This is what I love, right? Because when we see people through video and pictures, you're like shit. But then when I always tell people, if you've never seen it in person, you have to. Because it's one thing to watch on a streaming or on a television, but to be there in person and to see these guys in person, no pictures or video will do it any justice.
It's true.
I'll say this. So last year, summertime, I was judging the Victor Martinez Legends Classic in the Bronx. Carlos guest pose. He was 5 weeks up from Texas. He looked fucking 400 pounds on stage. Like in getting in shape. It was like, I remember just snapping pictures of him and like sending it. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And of course, you know, like he had to be better at his showings. You know what I mean? Like the condition, everything. You know what I mean? But like, just seeing him pose that day, I'm like, this is a problem when he really pulls it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's gonna pull it together, especially having Patrick Tor in his back pocket.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. And that's the one thing for like people watching and stuff. There's also a lot of competitors out there that they just don't look nearly as good in pictures. There's some that look fantastic in pictures. And then when you see the pictures, it's like, okay, you know, like this doesn't look off, but you gotta understand, like the judges are right there. Like, I remember when I was at the Toronto Pro a couple years ago when Ian Vaere won, and people were like online shitting on him. And I was like, no, like I was there very close to stage. I'm like, it wasn't close. Like there's a big difference when you see the pictures versus when you see them right there in person.
100%. When I went and watched the Boston show, I remember people always said, oh, Steve Kuklo doesn't translate unless you see it in person. And then I saw Kuklo in person and I was like, oh, I fucking get it now. Like, just like, it's not this crazy. He just looks so hard in person.
He was like a lumberjack.
Yeah, it just doesn't translate on pictures. It just doesn't.
I was at Bev's one time because I was down in Long Island for work, and I was training, and Steve Kukla was there training. And he came up to me and he goes, "Hey, do you got any wrist wraps I can borrow?" So I literally let him use my wrist wraps, and I was spotting him while he was doing like 180-pound dumbbells on incline presses, like they were paperweights. And then you see that guy in person, you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ! And he has a pretty physique. Yeah, not like a freaky, like everything flows well with him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Seeing those guys in person is just
that's why I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm also excited for the Pittsburgh Festival because you know a lot of people in Pittsburgh been watching me compete for a long time, and I always tell people this will be the first time they'll have an open in Pittsburgh. I'm like, if y'all want to see some bodybuilders, you gotta come and watch because you can see it on TV. And I'll never forget my Olympia experience, being backstage with Kamal, Sean, seeing Chris Bumstead, Ramon, like seeing these guys physically in person, I was just like, yeah, there's a whole nother level, like a whole nother level that I couldn't even fathom at that time, because it's like you just don't know how big they are and how in shape they are through pictures and videos. Like you just don't see it.
I wanted to go to that Pittsburgh show so bad, but we have a natural NPC show in Mass that same weekend, which it's new, and like I know I'm going to be working that, and I'm just like, oh man, that show is going to be wild.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh's going to be nice.
Who's the promoter for the natural one?
Jimmy Champy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep, good guy.
I think I'll be there for that one. I actually think my sister's gonna do her first show ever.
Oh no shit.
Awesome. Yeah, she wants to do figures, so she's got a lot of work to do. But she used to play sports too, so I've been helping her with that. And she had 2 kids, just went through a divorce, and you know she needs something to just focus on. And she's crushing it. Like for someone who's never been doing this, like she's doing really well.
That's badass.
So I think I'll be there for that show, regardless if she does that one or not.
Good.
I'm excited for the natural circuit that the NPC is like really pushing forward, because man, like I started in the OCB, but some of those natural organizations are just not what they used to be, and I'm glad the NPC's given natural competitors a route, because I think it's needed. I still love natural bodybuilding. It still has, of course.
I mean,
I remember that like my first show, the 2011 Cape Cod Natural that I told you guys earlier. They had like the Gaspari Pro that day.
Yep.
And like watching all those like pro natural guys,
they
were fucking peeled. Like they were.
Is that the one that Lane Norton did? That was at one of the Cape Cod shows when he did the pro show. It was the Gaspari one.
I think Cleveland Thomas won it. Yep, and like I did, like those guys were sick. You know what I mean? So it's like, imagine having that kind of like the natural guys get shredded.
Yeah, you know? And I think that they need a space, and I think that people also need a space to find out if bodybuilding is something that you actually like. Exactly. Like I always talk to the younger competitors and people who are like, you know, so gung-ho about turning pro, and I always say you should first do a natural show to make sure you like this. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to become one of those people that don't take it serious. You know what I'm saying? If you want to cross that road in hopes of turning pro and, you know, just understanding all of the nuances that come into bodybuilding. And for me, my first 2 shows, 100% natural, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, but it gave me an opportunity, first of all, to make sure I liked it. Right, because prep is not for everyone. Like it's so funny when somebody starts a prep. The first 2 weeks, I always get a text message. All right, so what can I snack on in between meals? You can't snack on nothing. There's no snacking, dog. Like you eat your meal, you wait until your next meal, and you eat that meal, and then you wait until your next meal. And if you can't balance work, if you have a family or whatever it is that you have in the natural circuit, don't even think about trying to take this any further, you know? And like you said, there are some guys who have no desire of ever crossing over and running gear, and they're good bodybuilders and they're good natural bodybuilders, and they deserve a space as well too.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. All right. Who did any of y'all watch the Super Bowl? I boycotted it this year, but did anybody watch it?
I watched. I was surprised. I did not expect Kansas City to get belt the ass like that. I did not.
Any of them.
I was happy to see Saquon win one because he's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think Jalen Hurts gets the respect he deserves because he doesn't put up the numbers, but he wins games. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He's not a goofy quarterback. You know, he gets the job done.
I love his demeanor.
Yeah,
the motherfucker's strong too.
Yeah,
he is.
People are talking about like how, you know, the tush push, like how like the Eagles have it mastered. Well, we also forget that Jalen Hurts squats like fucking 600 pounds.
Facts.
Yep.
So yeah, he's getting pushed, but like
he's explosive.
That's a quarterback.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that nobody even remembered that friggin' the Eagles had the #1 defense going into that game.
Well, they definitely reminded of that while watching that game because their defense was just like stonewalling them.
And they
How many
got their
sacks
get
and
back.
interceptions did they force? Like Jesus.
They got their
they
get back.
made the Chiefs' offensive line look like
Dog shit.
like
rushing forward.
JV team.
Yep,
it was crazy.
Oh yeah. It's amazing to see how Philly gets that running back and their defense is much better, and now they're the Super Bowl champions. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be a problem next year too.
Yeah, and hopefully the running backs get more respect in football. You know what I mean? Because I hate how they just get used and abused, man. It's like this is one of the last gladiator sports we have. You know what I'm saying? And running backs just aren't the same as my favorite was Barry Sanders.
he's my favorite too.
I was an Edgerrin James guy.
Edrin's a dog. Facts.
Yeah, I always like Barry Sanders. I like Terrell Davis and was it Ricky Williams?
Ricky Williams.
He was good.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Sanders looked like he had cheat codes on when he was running.
If he had an offensive line,
every once in a while, I'll just put on a Barry Sanders highlight reel. I'm like, man.
You want to know what's crazy? Did y'all watch the Barry Sanders going?
The documentary?
Barry? I didn't know that they could have had Joe Montana, and the owners said, no, he's too old, and then he goes to Kansas City, damn near gets them a fucking Super Bowl. You mean to tell me Joe Montana could have been in fucking Detroit with Barry Sanders? Like, what the fuck?
I had no idea till I saw that either.
Oh, I would have been pissed. Like, y'all didn't like that. You bring him in. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of them quarterbacks you bring in. Shit.
Yeah.
I have a random.
I like the guys that bulldoze. I like Derrick Henry and then old school Jerome Bettis.
Dude, that guy was a great train.
Mike Allstott.
Yeah, I was going to say Mike Allstott. I love Mike Allstott.
Yeah, he was a savage, dude.
Yeah.
Then really long ago, that guy Earl Campbell, that guy had friggin' like legs, just huge legs, just running over people.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, sports related. Who do you think is like the greatest athlete of all sports of all time? Like you can be Olympics, football, whatever.
Usain Bolt.
We're gonna be here all night.
Athlete. Oh, shit.
Usain Bolt.
That's tough, man. I mean,
greatest athlete.
What about Michael? I hate to say it.
So I pick Bo Jackson because he's a Hall of Famer in 2 professional sports.
I hate to say it because
Bo Jackson can be up there.
I come from the swim background.
You got to say Deion Sanders too, because Deion
Sanders.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal.
He's the only person to play in the Super Bowl and
the World
Series.
Right.
Yeah. Multi-sports. All right, I'll give you credit for that. What about Michael Phelps?
I was going to bring him up too. Nuts. Yeah.
There's kind of no wrong answer here.
Yeah.
There's definitely not a wrong answer.
Yeah, I mean, because to be a professional athlete in anything, I mean, I look at like when I see a 6'9", 6'10" basketball player who can dribble a basketball like a guard, it doesn't look real in person. Like it just doesn't look real. You know what I mean? You see Kevin Durant. You ever see him in person? Oh my God, he doesn't look real.
Can we also talk about that? Like these NBA players look skinny on TV, but when you are there in person,
that's what I mean.
Jaylen Brown's not skinny.
No,
you know, they're jacked and they're 6'8", 6'10". Like,
I met Dwight Howard once, and I was just like looking up at him, like, hey.
Yeah.
You doing,
Mike? I got a question for you, Mike. How bad are you rooting for Cooper Flagg?
Man, so here's my dilemma.
The main boy.
I hate Duke. I hate Duke in my internals forever, but I can't not root for Coop. So
he's nice.
He's nice.
He is fucking nice.
He's nice.
And as the season's progressed, he's really like come into his own, and now he's giving you 20-10 every night. Like he's a beast.
He dropped 27 last night.
Yeah. He's a beast.
Are they looking like they can win the national?
I don't know if they can win a national championship, but they can make a pretty deep tourney run.
they might be a little young for like the Final Four play.
Mhm.
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's where like your Auburns and you know, but you never know.
Yeah,
Could happen.
It's the best sporting event ever. March Madness is my shit.
Yeah, I like March Madness. I like to watch the teams that we don't even know who are gonna the Cinderella stories. I love those.
I've tried to get tickets to March Madness or like the Maui tournament preseason because I'm like, dude, I can't imagine going to Hawaii, watching basketball for a weekend, high level basketball, and then spending the days on the beach. But those fucking tickets are like $25,000.
Shit, yeah, expensive as shit. And Hawaii is just expensive in
Are they
general.
that much?
They're I don't know, that might be an exaggeration, but I was looking at weekend tickets. They're like 5 to 10K.
Mhm.
Damn.
Plus flight, and then you pay for flight, pay for hotel. So yeah, I don't know about all that. Since we're a sports show now, and other sports news, anybody want to weigh in on the Luka AD trade?
So listen,
I texted you right when that shit happened.
I don't know if this is true, but it makes sense to me. So I just saw and read that the majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks made that call because she was promised that she would be able to add a casino into the Maverick Stadium, and Dallas is now basically reneging on that. So she threatened to move the team, but the NBA won't approve it because Dallas is a good market. So then she said, well, we're just going to trade the number one, y'all best player to pretty much hurt the franchise. And the only reason why it makes sense to me is because normally when a trade like that happens, there's rumors way before it happens.
Dude, I woke up and I thought that was like a meme.
I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake
because they put like the 5 starters on there, and they did like the Dallas and the Lakers, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like,
I thought it was fake.
I'm like saying, I said it, I looked at it, the trade had already happened, and I looked at it, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this will happen.
I said the same thing. I'm like, there's no
later,
way.
I'm like, 5 minutes later, I look at it, and they're like, I'm like, holy shit, it actually fucking happened. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I know that the NBA wants a new team in Vegas, and I think this is the push for her to move. Even though Dallas is like a major market, I think they want to move that Dallas team to Vegas so she can have the casino thing as well. That's the rumor that I heard as well, Doug, and it makes the most sense to me. Other than that, you do not trade a top 2 franchise player. I don't fucking care. That's crazy.
Dude,
I'd shake my ass.
The owner, this would never happen.
He dropped 70 points in a game last year. I'd have shaken my ass.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
And they were in the final. They were in the final.
Trailblazer or a Utah Jazz team to fucking Las Vegas. Why are you moving Dallas? They're like the 3rd biggest market in the fucking country.
And now AD's out for the season. So y'all traded for somebody who can't even play now the rest of the season.
It was supposed to be a win.
Yeah, AD's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he got injured. I forget what it was, but he was injured.
Yeah, it was a
win now trade for Dallas.
Injury, right?
I don't remember. Something with his growing.
Oh, fuck.
He's always injured.
Yeah, he's always hurt. Always hurt.
And then
he's a talent.
They were saying Lucas pushing the scale at 270.
Ain't he like 6'10" though? Like,
yeah.
When you that tall, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if you're 5'10", you know what I'm saying? But 6'10", shit, you better be 270. The fuck?
Otherwise they look like Slender Man out there in the court.
That's like Wemby. Yeah. Like Wemby.
Gangle master out there.
He looks skinny as hell.
What's Wemby, like 190?
Yeah. Wemby's like 7'6", fucking 190.
He looked like it. Skinny as hell.
Got traded
Motherfucker looks bulimic.
Didn't De'Aaron Fox got traded to San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio.
That's gonna make him legit contenders.
Because they still got Chris Paul too.
They didn't look legit against the Celtics.
Was that?
That's the Celtics.
They didn't look legit against the Celtics.
No.
Yeah, that's Boston, though. If you ask me, the whoever's going to win the championship is going to have to beat them. I don't see nobody in the East fucking with
right.
Boston.
As long as I'm just so sick of us playing down to teams' levels and losing the teams that we shouldn't, but then rising to the occasion.
But
That
you
is
got to
not
remember,
that.
it's the NBA. You know who said it the best? I think it was Lou Williams. He said, "What makes being a professional basketball player hard is we got to play basketball even when we don't want to play basketball."
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the stretches and the flying, and think about like what we do, right? I know when I get done with doing traveling for a show, I'm beat. I couldn't imagine playing a back-to-back, flying to the West Coast, playing another back-to-back. Like, oh no, hell no. At that level,
I'm sure there's some of them on the team though that are like, I'm making money. Like I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. I'm enjoying every minute of it. You know, there's some that are like that.
I was gonna say I can play back-to-backs for a max contract all year.
Oh yeah,
I don't care.
I'm sure we could, but then there would come a point like this. I don't know how LeBron's still playing. Like, why, bro? You're 40. You don't need the money.
Hey,
my favorite player.
He's doing it for guys like you to ask that question.
But it's like,
what did we just talk about? What do? We bodybuild because we love the sport.
Yeah, he
loves playing basketball.
Has to. There's no other reason.
He loves it.
None.
And the other thing is, too, the other night, somebody interviewed him and he goes, "There's not even a question. The GOAT is Michael Jordan." I don't even know why.
Oh, he said that?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. That's awesome.
That's his GOAT. Yes, that's his GOAT.
Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. There's no question.
He's never denied that. That's why he wears the number 23. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's like as a competitor, right? Like as a pro, I look up to all of the guys I compete against now. But on the day we compete, I want to tear your fucking head off. You know what I'm saying? But I still look up to Sean Creed is one of those guys that I really look up to, because I remember when he first turned pro and just how people just tried to discourage him. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say, to hear your story too, it's like when you turn pro as a lightweight and things like that, people don't know that long journey you got to take to get up on that stage. That shows true passion to me. You know what I'm saying? And
Sean loves bodybuilding too. He
without
loves
question.
it.
Without question.
And even from his Olympia showing, like, he looks a lot different now. Like, he posts that one video. He's working with Boss Outlaw now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He looks dramatically different. So I'm curious to see how he's going to do in the Arnold as well.
He's polished. Yeah, he's polished. You know what I'm saying?
He'll be in that 6 to 8 range, I think.
Yeah,
I have him. I think he's probably gonna. I think he's gonna be like 7th. I think that's kind of where I have him in the mix, around 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty good. I mean, what? There's 12 total, and you're beating 5 open guys as a 190 guy. That's pretty fucking solid, dude.
Yeah.
So, Justin, last question. What's the best TV show you've watched lately?
Night Agent.
Okay, damn.
Good show. I love that.
I got to check it out. I keep seeing it.
What's it on, Justin?
Check it out.
It's Netflix.
Yeah.
It's
The
only
first season
10
was really
episodes
good.
per season. There's 2 seasons. I blasted it out in like 2 weeks.
So it's called The Night Agent. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Night Agent.
Yeah. So I've heard that from multiple people now. You just confirmed it. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I like I'm a sucker for, like, you know, federal law enforcement stuff, like cop movies, mob movies, like that's my shit.
For sure. No, I feel that. Actually, last thing I want to do, I'm gonna bring up your Rhode Island show. And so we can just speak on it, the date on that, and hopefully get some people to sign up for it. Yeah. My favorite movie of all time is Training Day, so I'm with you on like the cop style stuff.
I just watched that a couple days ago.
That's Mike's favorite meme. The same.
It is my favorite meme.
He says that all the fucking time, bro.
Ah, man. Yeah. Whatever, Brendan. I do send that meme a lot.
You do.
I use it all the time. It's my favorite character in any movie ever. Alonzo is a perfect character.
He's
Denzel
flawless
did
in
a
that movie.
fantastic job with that.
He's flawless in that.
I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't even seen The Equalizer until last week, and I watched the first and the second one. Holy shit,
dude! Watch the third one. It's on Netflix. The third
one's good too.
Yeah, I've only watched the first and second, but they were unbelievable.
The third one's in Italy. It's badass.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I like the second one, the second Equalizer, because that ending fight scene is actually a nightclub I used to work security at. It was like right there. So like that's out in Marshfield, Mass. Is where they filmed that part.
Yeah, Justin, if you need any help on that Rhode Island weekend, let me know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'll reach out. I'm pretty excited. Everything's coming together pretty nicely.
Oh, it's at Twin Rivers. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had to bring it back there, you know.
All right. So it's May 31st.
May 31st, Bally's Twin River Casino. It's at the event center there. The show actually used to be there, Chris. What was it, 2012, 2013?
Well, I know that when I did the NPC Northern Cup in 2009, I think that guy Dave Follensby used to promote it. It was at Twin Rivers, so I'm familiar with that. That is a very great venue, especially for like a local regional show. It's a fantastic venue.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited that we were able to get it back there. It's funny, my buddy Bob Hathaway was sending me the posters because he did it, I think, 2012. He was sent and he sent me the posters like with Branch Warren on the front and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
But no, I'm excited, and it's 15 weeks out this upcoming weekend. And there's hotel room rate there's a Rhode Island NPC Rhode Island's Instagram page. The hotel room rates in the bio. And we'll obviously be posting a lot more updates. We've got a great title sponsor, Olympus Gym, Alan. He's fantastic, a guy that just loves bodybuilding, and he's doing a lot for the show. And we've got a lot of sponsors, like a very overwhelming amount of sponsors. There's going to be a lot of tables there, which we're very grateful for, because, a show doesn't run without the sponsors and the competitors, you know what I mean? That's what it needs to be about, So I'm pretty excited for that because I posted a video. We actually had to expand and get the whole event center because of how many sponsors there were. And I just think it creates kind of like a badass feel for the competitors and everything, so I'm pretty excited. And we'll see the turnout. I know there's competitors already registering, like they tag me in their registrations and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I'm very honored.
That's awesome. So people go and sign up. No doubt in my mind, it will be an awesome show. For 100%. Sure.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys for shouting that out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, we've been on for like 2 hours, and I know I got to eat my last meal.
Me too.
Same.
Hey, me too. I still do this.
Yeah.
He's like, don't leave me out.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, bro. I really appreciate it. It was awesome.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah, pleasure to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Dougie.
Yes.
And I'll talk to you boys in the group chat, and everybody have a good night.
Yep.
All right, sounds good, fellas. Have a good night.
All right, fellas.
Yeah. Bye, guys.